Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a good day today, a blessed day. Time goes by. We're already in tomorrow's the Lord's Day where we'll assemble with the saints. And so the lesson today is titled Put on Hold. Of course, we don't like it when we call up somebody, we want something taken care of then. We don't like, will you hold, please? Yeah, we don't really care for that. And of course, sometimes the music they play while we're on hold is just horrible. But but there's other things that are put on hold as well. See, we see a lot of this in the current virus scare that we had, that we're slowly coming out of, and it's lasted over a year now. And it drastically altered many lives in many places. Businesses closed down because government told them to. People were out of work and no income coming in, and the general disruption of our lives has caused the government to do some drastic measures. And yes, one of the things was rent payments. Rent payments are a concern for so many, and not having any income, people are stressing over how they're going to pay their rent. Well, they can't pay their rent, they don't have the money. So what happens? The government steps in and tells every landlord, mortgage company, and holding company put these things on hold until the problems are over and the economy returns. That way people can get caught up on these things. But here's the problem. Most people live paycheck to paycheck and barely budget their earnings to meet their regular payments. How are they going to make up their back payments that they owe? And it's going to be practically impossible for most of them. And so, even if they do get their jobs back, some of them have recently, but yeah, it's going to be that way again. And they will not be able to make up their past failures. Consequently, back in August in California, they had a record number of foreclosure notices being posted into the court system. Why? Because people didn't have any money, they couldn't pay their rent, and these landowners, they wanted their rent money. And so eviction notices are going out all over the place, and it will continue for several years. And the few stimulus payments that were sent out were not enough to pay for some people, even a 1 month rent for most, or help people pay their bills. And they were barely enough to buy groceries and stock up on some supplies, hoping for another stimulus payment or stimulus bill to be passed. And so this is definitely putting a hardship upon every facet of our society and our lives. People like the idea of their rent payment put on hold and how they can spend the money on other things. It will protect them from foreclosure. But that only lasts for a while. After spending and wasting their money, and all of a sudden the landlord says, well, we can collect all of our back pay now, and if you can't do it, you're out of here. That's what's going to happen. And others are taking advantage of the situation, and other criminal elements are capitalizing on the opportunity to take advantage of others. And it's always been that way. This is nothing new. See, often the important things that are necessary are put on hold so that we can do other things that we feel are more important than the important things. Now, does that make sense? Yeah, the things that are really important, we put on hold and do things that are not as important because that's what we want to do. And the more important things are usually put on hold or set aside with the intention maybe of coming back to them later on. See, most people have put their spirituality on hold so that they can sow their wild oats or whatever cliche you want to use. And they do so with the intention of correcting their behavior before they die. The problem is most people don't know when they're going to die. And some put the importance of Bible study on hold, thinking that they will eventually get around to reading the Bible. And the problem is they don't. And what most people fail to realize is that everything put off is going to have consequences. It's going to have to come back sooner or later. And there's going to be consequences. And we know that from life. And one might claim that, okay, well, tomorrow I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. But the thing is, has tomorrow ever arrived? You know, when you go by a restaurant that says free crab tomorrow, I mean, guess what? Does that ever happen? No, it does not, because tomorrow never gets here. And saying I'll do something tomorrow is not going to happen. You know, even James chapter 4 talks about this. Don't say tomorrow we're going to go to such and such city and make a profit, because your life is but a vapor, and we're not promised a tomorrow. We know that. And mankind has filled their lives with so much non-essential things that the essential things or just outright ignored. So the things of this world have a much stronger allure than the things of God for most people. And it really shows, because not that many people are seeking God or seeking to have a good relationship with God. And sadly, they will find out in the end just how essential these thought were not important were very important. But it will be too late to do anything about it. You know, getting back to our situation, people are excited about the government bailout and all these rules to put things on hold, but they still have to pay their rent and their taxes. See, they might get a check to help with their bills, but we all know that many are going to go out and just buy that $400 purse or those $300 shoes and paying their bills. They'll just put that on hold. And this may help the overall economy, stimulate the economy, but we also know that many people will waste their government assistance, and it's already been proven. I mean, we've had many news reports about all the waste that has taken place because of these things. And when things start to improve, these people are going to be the first to cry that they are hungry or about to be evicted, and they're going to expect the taxpayer to bail them out again. Sooner or later, that's not going to happen. I mean, they may think, well, if we give them some more bailout money, I mean, they'll vote for us. I mean, and some political parties are that way. But eventually that's going to stop, and these people are going to be in trouble, and they're going to need basically to be in subjection to the government and at the mercy of the government the rest of their lives. So when all is said and done, we must learn what is really important. You know, in Colossians 3:2, we read that we are to set our affections on things above and not on the things of this earth. And yes, this is difficult. We have to work and learn to survive. But when we focus on God, we can have a calm nature about us. We have that peace which passes all understanding, and our hearts are protected by God. And we're going to be a lot better shape than most people. And we'll find we're not going to be part of that rat race that this world is so involved in. See, when we keep everything in proper perspective, we have truly learned the most profitable thing. And having a good relationship with God is the greatest thing we can possibly possess in this world. Most people don't realize that. A few of us do. And nothing is more important than having a good relationship with God, because God does take care of his own, and he doesn't allow them to go hungry. So do not put your spiritual things on hold, because you may never catch up in time. I mean, we do not know when Judgment Day is coming. We don't know what's going to happen even today, tomorrow, the next day, or we don't know when our life is going to end. We think, well, I've got plenty of years left in me. And guess what? People die every day. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people die every day. Statistics I checked on was like 151,000 people die every day. Not just from old age, but also from disease and other sicknesses and accidents and wars and things like that. We must be prepared all the time. So please figure out what is truly the most essential thing you will need to meet your Maker on that day, and get yourself prepared to meet God and stand before him in judgment. Hopefully you'll be in a good relationship when you do. Otherwise, it'll be bad for you. So think about these things, and Lord willing, we'll be back again tomorrow. All right, bye-bye for now.